Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Game Week 31 preview show. It's the one with half the games but double the problems. I'm here with Kieran. We're going to discuss Game Week 31. So how you doing this evening, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Good, yeah, I'm alright. I'm a bit stressed out about this upcoming game week, if I'm honest, because I feel like I can't work out my transfers yet, can't plan, but we'll try and get through it, won't we?
Yeah, you're in a sticky situation. But...
I'm in a sticky situation, and it's not fun and games. Cool. So on the show tonight, we've got our usuals. We're going to round up our scores from last game week. We're going to check in with the Cougar Mini League, and we're going to also do our Cougar Cub Picks. Then we're going to take it fixture by fixture and talk about the games that are coming up this weekend. And then we're going to finish on our captaincy options. I think there's going to be a clear team who are at the top of all the captaincy picks this week. And then finish with some clean sheets and, general wrap-up. So I think let's get straight into our scores from last week, or lack of points, I think I'd say mine. So here we go. Keek, do you want to talk me through your 57 points?
So 57, as you said, a decent 9 above average. So 9. It was a small green arrow, which was of 6k from 85k to 79k. So kind of not what I expected when I had my captain fail. Obviously, it wasn't a blank with Salah. He got an assist. Another kind of captain fail of not putting the captaincy on a hat-trick that I own. Sterling. Had a big debate with people on Twitter most of the week of who to go for between Sterling, Salah, Mane, and I picked the one that didn't do well, to be honest. So, but never mind. Those were the 3 that actually got returns for me this week, and everyone else pretty much blanked. I benched Digne again for his points, so that was 11 points that he's got in the last 2 weeks, and I've benched him for Lascelles, who's got like -1 and maybe 1. I can't remember what we got last week, but it might have been 0. So a big loss there, unfortunately. But will Chilwell ever keep a clean sheet? I don't know, maybe, hopefully.
Don't think so.
I've got hope for this week, but maybe not. So decent overall, I suppose.
What did that see you jump in rank?
6,000 places to 79k.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been a huge green arrow if I just put it on Sterling.
It could have.
Yeah. So
there were some big scores around this week, weren't there? With Sterling captainers and Mane captainers, and you were deliberating on the show last week about what to go for, but could have gone either way in that Liverpool game on Sunday.
Yeah, he could have got a haul himself as well. So yeah, just unfortunate again, I think.
Yeah. No, I had a much worse game week by comparison. So I kept the captaincy on Aguero, which was great, 5 points, but just like on a bit of a slide just at the moment. And I think my team's okay, and I think I've dropped 60,000 places in the last 6 game weeks. That's 10,000 places average per week, which is it's pretty awful. But looking at it, I think the main problem is my defence it's got too many sort of mid-weight players. In years gone by, I've had 1 or 2 premium players and then 3 4.5 rotating defenders and playing 3-4-3. This season I've sort of tried to take advantage of these mid-priced attacking defenders or wing-backs to get in the points. And I think in some instances that's worked with Trent and Doherty earlier in the season. But recently getting on Pereira, he's been poor, and Alonso obviously has been in and out of the team. It's just a bit of a mess in defence at the moment. I think that's where it's gone wrong, really. So got some game weeks still to address it, and a wild card obviously, and a couple of doubles and a couple of blanks. But yeah, a bit irritated with the state of it, really, because I think it's a good, decent team on paper. They're just not performed. Son and Pogba have sort of gone off form the last few weeks. It's really Jimenez, Aguero, and Salah that have given me any points in the attacking department, really. So.
I obviously sold Jimenez as well, which felt bad for Higuain, who did pretty much nothing at all, and he looks like a worry for the blanks, I think, because he looks so poor in that game. He's only scored against Fulham and Huddersfield so far, which says quite a lot, doesn't it? I just thought he would have scored in that game, and I thought he would have pushed on, but hopefully he can do it against Everton, because Everton is supposed to have like the worst XG like at home, or goals and XG. So, hopefully he can push on. But yeah, I've passed you for the first time in a long time in our own friends mini league, haven't we? So that's I was like 60-70 points behind you like maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and Yeah, you have had a bit of slide, haven't you?
I have. It's been poor. So that ended up being 38 points for me this week, which was 10 below the average. And actually, I think my highest point scorer was my transfer, which was Boruk, who came in for Button, and I played him over Gaita, who ended up starting. So
Well, you had Jimenez, but yeah.
I did have Jimenez. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, second, but it's worry when your sort of second highest scoring player is a 4 million Bournemouth goalkeeper.
Yep.
Anyway. So yeah, should we move swiftly on to the FPL Cougars League, because I found something to cheer myself up a little bit, and I got to say apologies first to Dylan Walsh, if you're watching and listening, because I tried to find someone who was higher than me in the overall rankings who had a worse game week than me, and it was difficult. All right, so Dylan, I'm sorry, he had a score of 26 points, and but he's doing so much better than me, so I can't really complain. He's at 12k
Savage
overall.
Call out.
It is a savage call out, so I'm sorry, mate. But yeah, he had Aguero captain and Salah like me, and that was pretty much his only 2-point scorers because he left Jimenez on the bench. Yeah, tough one. But it's funny because he had some good players in his team, I think, but there's just so many like ones and twos in there. Didn't go well. A well done has to be said to Kevin Pendergrast, who scored an epic 100 points. Lovely round figure this week in the FPL Cougars mini league. He moved from 44k to 12k with that, and up to 25th overall in our league. So well done. He had Sterling captain, Vardy, Mane, Kane, Milivojevic, and Almirion were his point scorers. So it's pretty good job there. Very impressive.
Very nice. Well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. Cool. So yeah, if you're not already part of our FPL Cougars mini league, the code to join is in the description. You can join, and maybe next week you'll either be shamed in front of the millions of worldwide fans if you do worse than Dylan. Cool. Kieran, how did our Cougar Cub Picks go? I don't even want to ask about this either, because I think it went badly.
I think we're pretty bad at this, you know.
Yeah, we are.
So yeah, I went for Bernardo Silva from City, Watford at home. He was really close to a few assists. Aguero fluffed a few chances from his assists.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So 2 points for Bernardo at home to Watford. Expected more, but never mind. You went for Schlupp, Crystal Palace at...
Nailed on clean sheet and attacking points, I would have thought.
Brighton at home, or was it away?
It was Brighton at home, yeah.
And yeah, so 1 point for Schlupp, which gives me a total of 12 points after 3 weeks, and you're on 13 points. So 1 point in it, all to play for. This week could be crazy, because I got a big crazy risk in mind. So yeah, we'll see what you got.
Is it Lanzini?
No, it's not.
Oh. Can you tell me what position they play, and I'll see if I can get it, or think about it and then get it later.
One of midfield or attack.
What? That's not a clue. That's not
it's
a clue.
Not a defender, all right.
All right. Well, mine's not a goalkeeper.
Great.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Well, should we start with the first of the game week 30 games? Bournemouth against Newcastle. I guess there's going to be quite a bit of investment in this game on people who are making transfers and free hits, mainly because of Bournemouth's good result against Huddersfield. You thinking about Wilson or Fraser, or adding them to your lineup? Because you went Brooks, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know, kind of annoyed at getting Brooks in over Fraser at this point. Yeah, Fraser with Wilson always does well, don't they? We've seen that Wilson goal, Fraser assist so many times tweeted by FPL. And yeah, it came straight back as soon as Wilson came back, didn't he? Fraser was off the boil for a while, and then Wilson comes back, and they're back on it. Yeah, and obviously Howe is a troll as usual, because he's saying that, I don't know, Wilson's been in training a little bit, we have to see, I'm not sure he'll start and stuff like that, and it's just like, and he played 90 minutes, and you're just like, what the hell? And then Brooks goes off at 67 minutes, apparently, supposedly injured, but I think it was fatigue, he said he's probably fine, but I hope that means he can start and play at least 70 minutes. I brought him in for this week, so if he doesn't play, that's a nightmare. But yeah, I do want to bring in Fraser. I don't really have a way to get Wilson in unless I get rid of Rashford, but I don't want to do that.
I think at this stage it's probably a good idea that we let everyone know what we're dealing with as we go into this week. Because I'm sure people are going to be looking at our teams and saying, "Oh, I've got one free transfer or two." You've got how many transfers free this week?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, and I've got two. So we're looking at it at the moment, and just to give an overview, I've got 6 potential starters because I don't think Alonso will, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 as well at the moment.
Well,
so your plans are
assuming Lascelles and Brooks play, it's 8.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Well. Okay.
Yeah, and if they're not, then it might be 6. But I think Brooks will play. I think he'll start at least, and even if he gets like just a couple points, then whatever. Yeah.
I think he'll start. Sorry, I didn't know what. Yeah, I just took it as read that he might be out then. So are you thinking about doubling up any more on any Bournemouth assets then? Because they got this home game. They'd lost the reverse fixture at Newcastle 2-1 earlier in the season. It was Rondon that scored the 2 goals for Newcastle in that game.
Yeah.
But he's typically quite poor away from home. I had a look at how he was doing. I think he's got his last away points were in game week 20. So he's not had an especially good run on the road recently.
Yeah. Yeah. I am favouring a Sterling possibly to Fraser instead, because I was looking at Sterling to Hazard, but I'm just not sure about Hazard. So I was thinking Sterling to Fraser to get the double, because if Lascelles doesn't play, I'll all out attack there with those two.
Yeah.
And the other one I was going to bring in was possibly Kamara to Vardy instead. So because I'm not going to go Hazard, I may as well just get Vardy with his on formness, and I've kind of got Higuain to cover, but I don't know on that. I don't know if he does cover him. But yeah, I am definitely looking at Fraser. I would like Wilson, but I don't want to get rid of Rashford. I haven't really looked at a way of fitting him in for Kamara with the Sterling money yet, but I might look at that. We'll see. Yeah.
I think it's a tricky game. Well, I think it's a tricky game to predict because it looks like, according to the stats, it's going to be fairly low scoring. So Newcastle have had a pretty poor away record in their last 6. They haven't won in any of those games, but in every game they have played, the goals have been slightly under 2 average per match. So I think if Bournemouth are going to win, which the stats and the form suggest they got a good chance to at home, and after picking up that win against Huddersfield, do you think they will? It'll be quite a low scoring game. To delve into a little bit more, are hits worth additional points in this one, if that makes sense? Because I think a lot of people are going to be saying, it's you take a -4 to get a player that gets 2 in. I think someone like Fraser is a good shout. Why you mention him? Because I think he's only scored less than 2 points on 3 occasions this season. So you'd think that when he and Wilson are starting at home together against a Newcastle side that are poor, notoriously at home, he should be involved in attacking output. So I think he would be a safe -4 transfer in, if that makes sense.
Would that apply to Borok as well for a hit?
I think less so. I think it's much easier for a goalkeeper to get a 1-point game.
I mean, it's like when you bring in Borok, you're thinking about 33 as well. So it's for 2 games, and Borok has the best of the 2 blanks of fixtures. Newcastle at home, and then I think it's Burnley, and then another one in 33. And that's by far the best. Obviously, Fabianski has Huddersfield, but then he has Chelsea in 33.
Yep.
So, yeah, and all the other keepers have bad fixtures.
That's right.
So, yeah, I think I don't know. If he's playing in both games, he just has to turn up in both. And if it's 2 points in a blank, then he already plays it in the first game. Then the next game, the 33, you're probably going to be okay. So I don't know. That's why I'm thinking I might be going possibly -8.
Okay.
So I could do 3 transfers and get in Borok as well for Button. It's all up in the air, and that maybe that accounts to a -4. I don't know.
Well, it's funny you should mention Borok, because despite me saying a minute ago that goalkeepers can score 1, Borok hasn't actually done that regularly in terms of his average points since he's come into the side. So he's been in the Bournemouth side for 8 games now, and he's averaging over 4 points per game. So that includes saves. He had 2 10-point hauls, maybe a 10 or a 9-point haul, which boosted that average up and makes it look a bit different. But yes, over 4.3 points per game in those 8 games suggests that with saves and whatnot, 'cause Bournemouth can see quite a few chances, that you'd probably make your hit back and have a playable goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks generally awful as a keeper, but he does make some saves. So,
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the Boruc paradox.
Exactly. But that's kind of what we want from a 4-0 keeper. Like,
Yeah,
you're not expecting clean sheets, you're just expecting a couple saves, at least 3, to get you that extra point.
Yeah.
And then, not to concede like 5.
So would you advise against Newcastle defence in this one? Obviously, like you say, Lascelles has picked up this injury. Maybe he'll be out, but I think Shah's the one that's irritated a lot of people because he's actually ruled out, isn't he, through was it a caution he picked up in the last game, just totalling up? Yep,
10 yellow cards, 2-game ban, so he should miss 31 and 32. Should be back for the other blank, assuming actually no, do they miss the 32 because of FA Cup?
I think the 32, they're meant to be playing away at Arsenal. That was their actual fixture.
So if they get through in the FA Cup, then they'll blank in 33. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So if you had him, obviously I would get rid because he's not going to play. I think most people who owned Newcastle defence had either Lascelles or Shah. So and with both of them possibly being out and 2 new ones having to come in, I'd be worried for their chances of keeping a clean sheet. But their system is fairly solid. I think that Kieran Clark guy is quite good. So not too worried about him. And they'll probably go back to a back 4, I would assume, with Lejeune, Clark, Yedlin and Manquillo maybe on the other side.
But if you're Bournemouth and you're seeing that team sheet coming out and you're Fraser and Wilson and they're doing handshakes and they're chest bumping, you think we've got some goals in this today when you see that back 4 come in.
Yeah, you've got to feel confident for Bournemouth attacks. Yeah, but if you have Newcastle defence that isn't Lascelles or whatever, then just play them obviously because you get a point hopefully. Other than that, definitely don't bring any Newcastle defence in.
No, I think that's fair enough. All right, should we move on to the next of the 3 p.m. games, which is Burnley against Leicester? And I think this has seen quite a lot of interest because of Leicester's attacking assets in recent weeks under Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, apparently we're going to be more liberated when Puel left, and I think Vardy's proved that, hasn't he? Because he's got 4 goals in the 3 games since Puel's gone, and he got big point score. Was it 16 at the weekend against Fulham?
Yep.
I think he had 2 goals and assists, and all 3 bonus. I think he's banging form at the moment. There isn't. Is there a way you can get him in your team, or is that one you're just going to have to say?
Yeah,
maybe no.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's either Sterling to Fraser and then Kamara to Vardy, or it's Sterling to Hazard and Kamara to Rondon. So it's like which ones score more.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy hard decision. It's like proper 50-50 that, because Hazard could obviously do well against Everton, who concede loads, but then Vardy's in proper form, whereas Hazard isn't really. I mean, he got that 1 shot and 1 goal against Wolves, but I don't know, like both of them, Hazard and Vardy, are genuine FPL trolls, especially for me. And as soon as I get one of them in, the other one will do well, and the other guy that I've got in will blank. So I imagine as soon as I get Vardy in, his returns will dry up, and I'll get nothing, and then Hazard will go crazy. So
it's difficult to predict that form balance because, like you say, Vardy's in peak form at the moment, isn't he? And I mean, we'll get on to Chelsea's game against Everton, but in comparison, I don't think looking at Hazard's underlying stats for the game against Wolves, he popped up with a finisher in the added time. But that was his first and only shot on target, and I think he had 1 penalty box touch. Whereas Vardy, obviously a bit different, playing at home against Fulham, but he's shown in recent weeks that he's getting in the box, he's having these shots, and he's actually converting these chances. And I think you'll, for less money, you're getting more potential of goals from Vardy, and he's a bit of a bonus point hog as well.
And it's comparing Rondon to, say, like Fraser as well, isn't it? I guess.
For sure. How much do you fancy Rondon's away stats?
Not as much, I suppose. Yeah. But they look confident going forward because they scored 3 against Everton, didn't they? Yeah. Was it Everton they played last week?
Yes, it was. Yeah, but that was at home. But
I said that was going to be a 0-0, and we say, I think that, or you say that the Bournemouth Newcastle game might be low scoring. Kind of begs to differ. I think it might be quite high scoring. I
think there'll be less. I think it'll be less than 3 goals. total.
Maybe. Yeah.
Is that a good call?
2-1 sounds. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. No, less than 3 goals. It can't even be 2-1, Kieran.
Oh right. Sorry.
It'll be 2-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. What was I going to say? I was going to say about Burnley that they've been poor at the back recently, and I think that bodes well for Leicester's attacking assets. I think they haven't kept a clean sheet in their. Oh no, conceded at least 2 in their last 3. Obviously that bumped up a lot as, against Liverpool on Sunday when they conceded 4. But their defence, from a point of view where I was eyeing up these Burnley assets for this game week as cheap sort of enablers, and for 33, I'm not so convinced they're going to keep a clean sheet against this Leicester side now. So I just think it's a waste of a transfer, really.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can't see any attacking returns from any of them. So
I think Barnes is sort of informed.
Sorry, I mean attacking a return from a defender, making it even more pointless to get them in.
Yeah. I mean Vardy. Yeah, he's in form, isn't he? And Maddison looks to be doing pretty well at the moment. Tielemans with his first goal for Leicester as well. Looks to be getting in there eventually. And maybe this is the time for Chilwell/Pereira to do something going forward.
I hope so.
I mean, I just hope it's not Pereira, and I hope it's Chilwell. So
it'll be someone no one's got. It'll be Evans. Evans will score from like an Ndidi corner, and Leicester will win 1-0, and we'll all cry. I was trying to like tier and work out who I think the best Leicester assets are. I don't know if you'd agree with this. I'd put Vardy at the tippity top of this one, and I think I'd probably put Barnes just underneath him, because I was comparing Barnes and Maddison. Barnes is just maybe 2 mil cheaper than Maddison. He's a mega differential because he's still owned by less than 0.6% of the game. And he's having more penalty area touches. He's matched Maddison's output in the last 4 game weeks. I think they've both got 2 assists in that time. And his touches in the box, his shots in the box are all up on Maddison. I think if you get Maddison, you're playing it not safe, but you're getting a player who will just consistently create chances. And if they get taken, great. But Barnes looks like he's the sort of player that's going to get on the end of those chances. And he could conceivably have a game where he actually takes his chances and gets a mega haul.
I mean, he's pretty similar in terms of price and kind of player to Brooks at Bournemouth, isn't he? And a lot of people are going Brooks' way, so why are we not really gambling on Barnes? Like, probably should be, shouldn't we?
Exactly. We'll get to my transfers a bit later, but I think I'm going to have at least one Leicester player, and I think it's going to be him.
Fair enough. I think I'm leaning towards
Leicester,
Vardy
one attacking player.
For me. Just because Higuain can hopefully cover Hazard. His famous last words, it's hindsight 2020, but
I love the word cover. Just in FPL, just have it. If there's someone from the team,
it doesn't make sense, does it? But
doesn't make sense. No.
I just hope that with those two on the field, that Higuain is going to be involved with an assist to Hazard, or Hazard's going to assist to him, sort of thing.
Looking at my team, I'd say a player who I've got in for cover would be, or 2 players I've got in for cover for this game week, rather than former Pereira and Felipe Anderson. They've been bad picks and cover players for a game week I've planned for way too far in advance. So they have probably contributed to my downfall. So game week 31 and 33.
But a lot of people are in the same position.
Yeah, they are.
But a lot of people have had Anderson. A lot of people have had Pereira. So same problems.
Tootling along. So as a cheap enabler for if you're on a free hit, I would say Westwood looks a good pick for Burnley. He's 4-6, and he's actually leading the Burnley midfielders in terms of total points across this season. He's got back-to-back 7-point games now. I quite like him. I mean, it was the corner kick, wasn't it, that floated over Alisson that he got his goal. Was that right?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was. So I mean, he's not going to score one of those every game, but maybe every other game, Kieran.
I think if you're buying him, you're looking for 2 points max here, really.
Yeah. All right. Would you say Barnes is the best? I mean, we know you and I have experienced the toil of Leicester defensive ownership. Who do you think is going to break our hearts on Saturday? Is it going to be Barnes from a Westwood corner?
I mean, probably, but I think he scored 1 the week before, I think, but him and Wood have kind of gone off the boil again. They haven't done too much, so I'm not too worried here. I'm pretty confident of clean sheet.
Okay.
But famous last words.
Famous last, yeah. I'm not confident at all, but all right. Should we move on to the 3 p.m. game, where I think so far you haven't got any coverage? That's the West Ham Huddersfield game.
Yeah.
Huddersfield lost obviously 15 of their last 17. They're only 2 wins in that time were against Wolves. A team that begins with the letter W. Kieran, are they going to make it another win against another team beginning with W here?
No.
God, I hope not.
No.
Oh,
No, they're definitely not going to win. I can't see them scoring, so it's probably a clean sheet for any Fabianski and West Ham defender owners. But are they going to score? Is Anderson going to do anything? Probably not. He got hooked to 45 minutes, didn't he?
He did,
last week.
Against Cardiff, are you kidding me?
An abject performance from West Ham and Anderson, who's been awful for weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched. That being hooked at 45 minutes is a pretty good sign that he might not play the next game.
They need to get Arnautovic back on the pitch.
Yeah,
I reckon he must be killing morale doing something, because their form has sort of derailed in line with him being benched and all kicking it up his fuss. Do you remember before? I think it was even in December, maybe early January. They went on a great run of form, and it was like the first time in Premier League history they'd won 3 or 4 games on the bounce. And then his agent kicked up about going to China.
Yeah.
And since then, it just feels like the FA Cup game was shortly after, wasn't it? They got hammered by Wimbledon. And since then, I just feel like West Ham have been back to sort of flashes of themselves. Sorry, yeah.
No, I agree. But yeah, I think Arnautovic should play, because Chicharito didn't do much in that game against Cardiff of all teams. So I think he's due a start. I think he's sat on the bench long enough. He's fit. I think he should start, and I think he could do well if he starts. And Anderson and Arnautovic together seem to do well. So yeah. And then obviously the guy that I like as well, Lanzini, came off at 57 minutes last week. Yeah. So I don't know if that's just Anderson and Lanzini getting taken off early just because they were playing so badly. But yeah, I still think he's fit. I don't think it was an injury or anything. But less intrigued or after him this week. Less after any West Ham.
I think they're going to keep the clean sheet in this one. I can't see Huddersfield scoring. They haven't scored in their last 5 away. Can't see that changing despite West Ham's clean sheet record not being so great. I think it's just going to be a bit of a bitty game, really. I was having a look at why it went wrong at Cardiff, and none of them seem to be getting in the box, the West Ham players. So Chicharito, Snodgrass, Anderson all registered 1 penalty area touch, and it was actually Lanzini had the most of any of them with 3. And they were all pretty much on the edge of the box. It wasn't like any of them had any decent chances. So I don't know. It's just that attacking aspect at the moment. It's just it's really gone down.
But it is Huddersfield.
It is Huddersfield. That's the thing, yeah.
And anyone can score against Huddersfield, apart from Wolves.
Maybe Anderson is going to be my hero. I need him to be this game week.
Yeah, it could be. People are getting so sick of him, they might be transferring him out. So yeah, he could be a differential this week.
He scored against Huddersfield in reverse fixture, I seem to remember. So
I wouldn't be surprised if he scores. If he comes, maybe he doesn't start and then comes on and scores, just to finally reward you guys.
I just need points. I'll take any sort of points. I don't want to take hits. I just need points from players. That's what FPL is, isn't it? We need points.
100%.
Do you want to talk about Sunday's games?
Okay, so Fulham, Liverpool to start with, 2:15.
Let's start on that one.
So obvious captain choices this week, probably.
They're all over. You can pick any of the players.
Yeah, all over the team. You could pick any of them, couldn't you? Salah, Mane, Robertson, Trent, Van Dijk. I think those are your best options. Maybe even Alisson if you want to go that way. I don't know. Obviously, Salah only got an assist in that game. I kind of, from the eye test, I think he looked better than Mane in that game, to be honest. I think Mane didn't do much other than just stick the ball in the net with a couple touches. I think Salah got in the positions, was just, I don't know, off form to finish them. He should have put them through to Mane to get a hat-trick and things like that, but yeah, I think Salah looked better, and I think hopefully it's going to click soon. So I'm even tempted to triple captain him in this week.
Whoa! First time I've heard that news.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk, but there doesn't seem much of a better fixture, really, because it has to be used in a single game week now, it looks like.
For you?
For me, yeah. So, yeah, why not? I mean, it was this time last year, I think in 31, maybe it was 33, where Salah got that haul against Watford in the blank, the 4 goals. Obviously, that has nothing to do with this year, but it's a good omen or sign. So yeah, it's tempting. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just a huge, well, not a huge, but a big win for Liverpool. I could see them racking up 3-4 goals in this one, because Fulham have conceded at least 2 in their last 10, which is crazy bad. And despite the fact Liverpool have drawn their last 3 away, I think it is now, I see them getting back to winning ways, keeping a clean sheet in this one, and I think it'll just be more professional performance, because they've got Bayern Munich tomorrow. We're recording this on Tuesday. They've got Bayern Munich in the Champions League Wednesday. That's their big game this week. That's their big game.
See how they do, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. So see how they do. See how they go in terms of fatigue, injuries. I did hear, for instance, that Trent had been nursing a bit of a knock, but he was fully training earlier today. So it'll be interesting to see how they all come out of that. Hopefully unscathed, the main assets, and just see what the form's like, because I think the Bayern Munich game could have a big impact on how they treat that Fulham game. If they oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think if they win or if they lose, I think they'll still full team on against Fulham, because obviously title is a risk now. They're obviously still behind.
Because they can go in front, can't they?
Yes, they can. Obviously, because City are blanking. So, I think they still need to play full strength team for Fulham for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if they named a few changes or a few players came off early, depending on what the results like in Bayern. If they get beat and they give everything, it could go to extra time, couldn't it? If it finishes 0-0.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of variables, so try not to get into too many of them. But
all hell will break loose if Salah gets injured or something.
Yeah.
So
it will.
Hold your transfers as you can, because that's a huge risk. I mean, if Salah is obviously fine from after Bayern, then most people are going to captain him this week, right?
Yeah. I think
so a triple captain will be less effective, I suppose, on him.
Yes.
Because it's minimal returns on one. So maybe a shout is Mane triple captain instead.
Yeah. Well, I had a look at the stats, because you were talking about actually the eye test, and the stats from the previous game, but Salah basically doubled Mane's touches in the box, but had 1 less shot than him, which was a bit of a surprise, really. Just when you're having that double the chance or double the touches in the box, not more of them are being converted into shots, really. So Mane is by far and away the form player, isn't he now? I think he's 9 in the last 10. His ownership is still quite high. I was pleasantly surprised to see up at, I think it's right. And Salah's is 45 at the moment, and Mane's been creeping up in terms of total overall points. I think he's only 30 odd behind Salah now, considering Salah's 3.5 million more than him or something like that. So I don't think Mane's a bad captaincy shout at all. I think he's a good pick.
What about Firmino? What do you think of him this week?
I think he could get. I think any of the Liverpool attackers really could get a big score this week. In the reverse fixture, actually, they played Shaqiri, and he scored from a Robertson cross. So he's a player for instance, if one or two of them are running a bit tired from the game in Bayern, it could be a case that Shaqiri comes into the team, or Lallana comes into the team and just dislodges someone, and it changes the flow a little bit. And we could see some.
I mean, Shaqiri's dropped out of favour, hasn't he? Really, a little bit.
That's a bit,
Obviously, Lallana has come in instead. Origi's come in instead, and Sturridge has come on. Shaqiri hasn't really done anything or come in even on sub for quite a while. No. So, I mean, maybe it's his time. If they are leggy, like you say, then maybe it is his turn to start a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say from Liverpool. All of us are going to be sat down Sunday hoping for a bloodbath, aren't we, really? We're going to be hoping for a goal fest to 0. I mean, it's just picking that right player.
To be fair, if nothing does happen there and it's fairly low scoring, everyone else will be in the same boat. So
yeah, that's true. You need to change your vice captaincy.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
You've got it on Rashford, Kieran.
Yes.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah,
I've got it on Robertson.
Loads of time left.
Loads of time. Okay.
But yeah, it's a week where you got to decide as well whether you go double attack or double defence, because you think there's probably a clean sheet there, but there could be loads of goals. So
yeah, it'd be good if there was a chip which you could change. You could increase your allocation of a certain team for a game week. That'd be quite a cool chip.
Yeah,
like you could have I don't know what you'd call it to sort of not make the other clubs feel bad, but you call it like the Big Six or something like that. That means you can choose 4 players from any of the Big Six clubs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
really cool chip. Cool. Is there any more you want to add on that one? Because I think we're exhausted.
I mean, nothing,
we haven't said
nothing to say
anything nice about Fulham,
no.
have we? No.
No,
Hello, Scott
sorry.
Parker. Sorry. Everton against Chelsea is the 4 p.m. game, and I think this is going to be the only game of this game week where I don't have any definite coverage, because I'm keeping Alonso. He's staying in the team.
Well, you never know. Emma's. Well, actually, no.
Emerson.
Alonso got midweek, hasn't he? So Alonso's probably going to play in Europa, isn't he? Then if he does,
right.
then you've got to be worried.
Maybe. But I don't get how Alonso can play at home in the big game against Tottenham and play really well, get 9 points, 3 bonus. Sarri obviously cares about FPL returns, right? So he gets 9 bonus. And then he gives him 2 back-to-back Sundays off. He says, nah, I don't need you at Fulham. Nah, I don't need you at home against Wolves. He's not even in the squad, Kieran.
Priority in Europa League, that's fine.
But he played against Tottenham.
I don't know, man.
Tottenham's a tough game. And they kept a clean sheet, and they haven't kept a clean sheet since he's been dropped.
Well,
Anyway,
him.
so I'm
Maybe
keeping
he'll
him.
come in.
I'm keeping him. He's staying in the team.
That's right. Dini's going to get loads of goals for against him anyway, so don't worry.
Ugh. Anyway, all right. So yeah, apart from Alonso, you've got quite a bit of coverage in this one. If you're thinking you've got Dina and Higuain.
Yeah, Dina, Higuain, or Dean, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hoping for maybe a goal fest, but without Hazard getting involved, which is very unlikely. But I don't know. I think Dean is just there for maybe just 2 points, really, or maybe even just 1. I'm just hoping for Higuain to do well.
You say that they kept a clean sheet at home against Liverpool in the last game, and Wolves kept Chelsea out. Have Everton not got it in them?
Probably not. Like I said earlier, like their goals conceded XG, whatever it is,
XG,
is like the worst in the league for at the moment. Conceded like 12 in the last something or other, like 4 or 5. So yeah, it's not great. And Chelsea don't exactly look flowing going forward currently. So that's a slight worry. That's why I'm kind of leaning not going towards Hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you carry on.
I was just going to say it is an irritating one with Hazard and Chelsea in particular, because they are one of the few teams that have a 31 game lined up, a 33 game lined up, I think I'm right in saying, against West Ham, and then also if they lose. Oh, sorry, who is it? Is it Brighton?
Mm-hmm. Brighton.
Yeah, if Brighton lose against Millwall, is that right? Or is it if they win against Millwall? I can't remember the configuration exactly, but basically they're relying on Brighton's result to see if they get a fixture in game week, a double game week in the game week 32.
Yeah, I think if Brighton win, then they will blank, or they'll get. Wait. Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I'm confused.
Millwall play Brighton. I think if Brighton go out, then their game gets played at the normal time.
Right.
I think that's right. Anyway, I'm sure someone will correct us in the comments, guys. Let us know. But anyway, whatever happens there, Chelsea have 4 potentially great fixtures, which is why for someone like me, not on a wild card, not on a free hit on game week 32, it's difficult ignoring Chelsea assets in this game, because I could be getting someone in for a hit that I have for 4 games. Anyway,
it sounds like you should. Who are you thinking? Hazard? Higuain?
Well, Hazard, I'm not so keen on Higuain, because I like the appeal of Hazard's bonus points, but I don't just like. I've had him earlier in the season, at the start of the season when he was doing well. I've had him again recently when he wasn't. He's too indifferent for me. Like 4 penalty box touches against Wolves, got it here, and the only shot was that one outside the box. Fair enough, he scored and got max bonus, but I don't know. He's just been a real nightmare to own in the past, and I think that's burnt me a little bit.
Who else would you possibly go for?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't fancy much their defence. They've only had 2 clean sheets away from home in the last 10. So I think it's such a sideways move to go Alonso to David Luiz or Rudiger or someone like that. So there isn't really anyone apart from Hazard who'd I'd even consider a little bit.
Aguero to Higuain, maybe?
Nah, because I need Aguero for the 32 double if they get that one.
Jimenez?
So I've got.
Can you afford that?
Again, I got to watch it. So basically, Kieran, just to let you know who the players who I can potentially get rid of to have a good game week 31 and a good game week 32 are Son, Success, Alonso, and Højbjerg. They're the 4 I've analysed that I can switch up and have a good amount of players, like 6 or 7 or 8 for 31, 32, and 33. So I've got to do something with it within that budget. So
Son and Success out, maybe.
Yeah, so likely this game week it will be Sun and Success out, and Alonso will stay in. But then moving forward, how do I handle that in game week 32? But that's a little bit down the line. I don't have to think. What date are we today? We're 11th. Game week 32 doesn't start for another 19 days, so I got 19 days to sit on it and see what happens. But yeah, it's funny, like you say, Everton have been a bit flaky defensively, but they kept that clean sheet last time at home. Chelsea are flaky defensively away, so I don't really fancy a move there. And Hazard and Higuain's statistics and underlying things don't really fill me a lot of confidence. Fair enough, they got attacking returns against Fulham, but who hasn't? And that game against Wolves, they were shut out. Could Everton have the same effect? I don't know. Oh, Kieran has too much to think about.
Yeah, hard to call this game.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Who do you think is going to win this game? That would be an easier one to analyse. See, I couldn't even call that either.
No, not good eye. You'd probably just lean towards Chelsea, but maybe only just like a 55 to 45 or something.
Yeah, it's crazy because I thought they picked up a bit of form after the even though they lost the League Cup final. I thought they played well. They obviously beat Spurs in what was a little bit of a scrappy sort of 2-0 win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With that classic own goal by Trippier. But since then they had a 2-1 against Fulham and a 1-0 against Wolves. I know they're both narrow wins, but
they had a decent performance in Europa, like 3-0 win against Dynamo Kiev or something. Yeah, but I think
Arsenal won against Rennes. Oh, sorry, lost against Rennes and beat United. I can't even process Europa League.
Well, just saying that I think Everton are slightly more open than Wolves, so I think there's more chance for Chelsea to do well than Everton, because Chelsea defence is usually quite solid. So I'd say probably a Chelsea win, but only just. It might just be like a 1-1 draw, something like that.
1-1 draw, who scores? Like a Pickford own goal and a Kepa own goal or something like that? No assist?
Higuain goal.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. And Alonso assist?
Sure. No, probably a Hazard assist.
He's going to have another Sunday off, Alonso. He's going to be laughing.
Yeah, and then probably, I'm going to say, like, I don't know who scores them. Calvert-Lewin.
Why have I still got Alonso? Bloody hell. Okay. I don't think there was anyone really on the Everton side I sort of fancied to take a bit of a punt on. Richarlison obviously scored that 2-yard bundle at Newcastle. Sigurdsson was fairly quiet, but was there any really on the attacking side of Everton you got any eye on? I feel like things are ready to go off there. Like, I feel like Silva's ready to be sacked. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's going to reach a tipping point because they seem to, I don't know, it just seems like the performances, the heads drop. Maybe it's just me.
Not sure, to be honest.
Not sure.
Not really.
Okay. Not really. Okay. Right then, well, should we move on?
Yes.
To our FPL Cougar Cub Picks. Do you want to go?
So, although you just asked me that Everton attackers not sure on, my pick is Calvert-Lewin.
Really?
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin.
Chelsea
I wasn't
at home.
Expecting that.
1.6%. Yeah, I need to go risky. I want to go risky. Why not?
For a Cougar Cup pick.
He's had
pick anyone.
What was it? Let me see here. 7, 2, and 6 in his last 3. So he's scoring, and he's at home. If Siggy or Dino can put it on his head, if he loves a header.
He does love a header.
Yeah, I think he's a chance. But I wouldn't pick him in your actual team. But I'm picking him as a Cougar Cub because why not?
Yeah, no, I like it. I was gonna pick a player, but I don't know what his ownership is, and I don't have any means of telling me. Do you have means of telling me?
Yeah, go on.
He plays for Liverpool, and he's called Firmino.
Okay, hold on.
I have a feeling he's definitely less than 20, but I don't know if he's less than 15. I can't believe you haven't gone for a Liverpool attacker in a game against Fulham as your Cougar Cup pick.
He's 15.7, so you can't have him.
Oh, I can't have him. I'll go. I should have checked this beforehand, listeners. I'm sorry. Okay, my second backup pick was going to be Van Dijk.
Well, he's surely over 15.
He can't be over 15.
He must be.
Just tweak the numbers.
No, I'm not going to be able to give you this. Hold on.
Just tweak the numbers.
30%.
30%. All right, I'm going Harvey Barnes then.
Right, there you
0.5%. He's definitely on there.
That's better.
Okay, thank you. I tried my luck with Liverpool there.
Yeah, 2 decent differentials. That's what we want for the cup picks.
I can't believe that 0.7% of owners out there. Firmino, selfish. Selfish.
Probably just going to go up as well. Probably last night it's just gone up by 0.7.
So captaincy, I think we are both... What are we both feeling here? It looks like you might play your triple captain.
I might do. Yes, we'll see what happens tomorrow in Champions League. And yeah, it's either Salah or Mane. Just a coin flip at the moment. Just see how they do. Could land on either of them.
I mean, we usually on our captaincy breakdowns we go into such a lot of detail about stats, but I think it just seems like such a no-brainer for a Liverpool attacking asset in this game. Fulham's woeful defensive record, and Liverpool's tendency just to go for it. I think they will go for it as well.
I think safety is Salah, risky is Mane.
Yeah, I think Vardy's not a bad shout after those two if you're looking for a player from a different team, but I think it's got to be a Liverpool player this week. Yep. And like you say, maybe even a triple.
Maybe.
So let's just have a quick review of our transfers, and then we'll pick out some clean sheets. You think you're going to take how many minus point?
It's maybe a -4. Well, it's probably a -4, and maybe a -8. So my options are Sterling to Fraser, and then Kamara to Vardy, and then maybe Button to Boric if you want to do the -8, right. And then or Sterling to Hazard and Kamara to Rondon. I haven't looked at other ways to do Kamara to Wilson yet, so that's a thing I might look at. But those are my options as of now. No. And
that seems alright.
I did a poll on Twitter yesterday, and it came out about 75-25 to Fraser and Vardy over Hazard and Rondon. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. The sort of form of Vardy, Fraser looking good with Wilson. Yeah. Hazard a little bit indifferent, as you say, and Rondon away stats, not great. So yeah, I think that's probably the way I'll go.
Cool. Well, I think I'm going to use my 2 free transfers to get 2 Bournemouth players and potentially a Leicester player. So I think I'm going to get Son, Success, and Højbjerg are the ones I'm thinking of getting rid of, and I think I'm going to bring in Fraser and Wilson, and I sort of want to get Harvey Barnes, but I can't because he's a Cougar Cub pick. Just switch
your Cub pick.
We'll switch the cups. Maybe I'll switch the Cub pick to Maddison, and I'll probably get Barnes.
All right.
Maddison's definitely less than 15 because I think he's 13 or 7.
So you're Maddison now.
3 more or less than 10. Oh, I shouldn't be so indecisive with the Cougar Cub pick. Right.
You should have researched. That's what you should have done.
I know. I should have my research.
All right.
I was just hoping Firmino was going to clutch it for me. But anyways, I think I'm going to go double on Bournemouth and a Leicester attacking asset. So I won't have any players from Burnley, Chelsea or Everton or Huddersfield. But who gives a about them at the moment because they are not providing fantasy options. Cool. Does that all sound hunky-dory?
Yep. Clean sheets, quickly.
Clean sheets, I think it's got to be... I don't really actually see very many, which is funny. I think I see Liverpool and that's it.
Yeah, I think hope is for Bournemouth if we get them in. That's our hope. And then maybe Leicester, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't see many Barca Liverpool, to be honest, this week. I think it's going to be funny old game week.
We thought there'd be a clean sheet against Burnley, didn't we? So
we did.
They
did.
Yeah, they could concede. Barbles look pretty good going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a joke.
Yeah, he has. He's passed the eye test a few times.
Yeah, that's true. It's just because he's got the red hair. He's noticeable.
It's true. Can't miss him.
All right, cool. Does that wrap it all up? You think?
I think so.
We're going to go enjoy some some Champions League action. Should we just give a little prediction tonight? Because it's 2 games. Because it's Man City and obviously it's Liverpool tomorrow. Let's get some predictions in for those.
I've not seen the lineups yet, but
see if we were right.
City 2-0, maybe 3-0.
I think City will go through tonight as well, and I think Liverpool are going to go out tomorrow.
Ooh,
I just feel like their away form has been poor recently in the league, and I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to turn it on away from home against Bayern. So I think they'll score, but I think Bayern might score 2, obviously, to win. So
yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I think Liverpool might just do it. I think I'm not sure Bayern can score past Van Dijk. It's just what it seems like to me.
Mm.
So yeah, I'll go 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, to be honest, I hope both Man City and Liverpool win because I like seeing the English. I sound like such a casual, but I love seeing the English teams in the Champions League. Don't you?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, it is fun. Cool. Okay, any more to add? Final thoughts, Kieran?
I just hope my captain goes well. I picked one of the Liverpool ones right.
Yeah. And we hope you pick the right Liverpool captain,
thank
listeners. You. Oh, listeners. Okay. Right. So that about wraps it up, doesn't it? We're going to be back next week or the week after because we'll probably do a Game Week 31 recap show. There's obviously an international break between 31 and 32. We'll probably do a show when we know about the doubles, won't we? And do a bit more planning.
Hopefully.
But, yeah. If you've got any questions about your team in the meantime, because I'm sure there's a lot of you who have, tweet us. We're at FPL Cougars, or leave a comment on our YouTube channel. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts as well. You can find us by searching for FPL Cougars. Great. I think that wraps it up. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers and good luck.
Bye-bye.